Joining me in the studio to discuss this, the sports psychologist Dan Abrahams and Vicky Beeching, who's a research fellow in ethics at Durham University. Very good evening to you both. Dan, I kind of got that feeling, as a lot of people did, that competition was being eased out of a lot of our schools. It was all sort of rather friendly and cuddly and cosy these days, not very competitive, but it clearly isn't.
No, I think it's a complex landscape, but it's different to the one you're describing there. I work a lot at grassroots level, and sometimes there's over-competitiveness. But let me cite some research that's been done recently by the FA. They actually asked those who matter, that's the kids. They canvassed 50 groups of 10-year-old kids, and they asked, why do you play this game? Why do you play football? And they said, well, for fun, to meet friends, and because we just enjoy football.
Boys and girls?
Boys and girls. First and foremost, fun must be at the centre of development, followed by learning skills, and then you have to bring in that element of competitiveness.
So, Vicky, an element of competitiveness, is that always a good idea or not?
I'm not so sure, and I've looked into the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic obviously being doing it for its own end, its own joy, and extrinsic doing it either for a reward or a punishment. And the more you up extrinsic, external rewards for children, their creativity goes down, their generosity goes down, and their empathy goes down. So you kind of create a new generation of leaders who see winning as the one goal and lose out on empathy for their fellow teammates because they just become means to an end.
Hasn't that always been the case? Haven't we always been instinctively mankind competitive beasts?
Absolutely, and that's why sport is a great lesson for life. It's almost cliche to say it, isn't it? But it's a cliche because it's true. Sport is a great platform and arena for teaching people the soft skills that are important in life, and the soft skills are the hard skills. So it's a fantastic arena in that respect. Look, I agree with everything that Vicky is saying, but I do think a soft, careful, cautious introduction to competitive play is absolutely crucial. What's important here is that we manage the coaching environment. It's the culture of coaching that mediates how well these children compete and also how much fun they have.
Vicky, I mean, clearly what this report was trying to get at was the fact that I assume kids are picking up a lot of bad signals off the television. They're seeing their sporting icons not behaving as nicely as most of us would like, kids to behave. Mums and dads trying to teach good lessons, and the kids are seeing somebody diving, cheating, whatever they're doing.
Exactly, and it was interesting in those stats that 1/3 of those kids were saying they would actually cheat without remorse if they won. And I think that's probably where the ethical, moral kind of impetus comes in. And I do agree that we are teaching people skills for life, but often competition is quoted as teaching people, to get ready for the real world. And I think it's worth us remembering, with every new generation, we actually get to redefine what that real world looks like for a generation of adults who today are children. So why not step aside from what I think is quite a non-creative binary of winning and losing and actually get a bit more creative. Let's teach people how to collaborate, the kind of leaders that we want to be around, even us, I'm sure, in our own workplaces. We want to be around people who are teammates, who cheer each other on, who give each other the best opportunities. And we're not raising people to aspire to that. We're actually saying there's winners, there's losers, people are a means to an end.
But by being, by approaching it from that point of view, can you still breed Olympic champions, World Cup heroes or whatever else?
Of course you can. I do think it's a slightly more complex landscape when it comes to sports like tennis, like gymnastics, where entry into world-class competition comes at a much younger age. But look, that's where governing bodies, the responsibility of the governing bodies and the responsibility of top-level coaches within those governing bodies have to have fantastic communication with parents and with competitors from a young age to give them an idea of what that landscape looks like as they develop, as they improve. But look, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Vicky, I mean, we all went to school and grew up with kids of a vast range of ability. From the kids who went on to be superstars and actually did
Kids
make
that never got picked.
Yeah, or the one. Sorry, you're the last pick.
Yeah.
Because you're the gawky kid that's useless at it, and that presumably can be pretty detrimental to a kid's confidence.
I think it can. I was coming over on the way here wondering in the taxi as I was preparing my thoughts if most of the counselling fees that are paid by adults probably start their sessions going, you know, I was the kid who didn't get picked for the football team. I mean, there's such classic moments in our own childhood that shape us, and studies have shown that although winning in competition really does bolster self-esteem, some studies have compared it to sugar for your teeth. So they're basically saying competition is like a rush, it's instantaneous, but it's temporary. And actually, those who are most bolstered by competition are also most susceptible to losing and that sense of deflation. So you're boosting someone and you're crushing them simultaneously. It's a bit like sugar, you know, you enjoy the sweets, but then you end up with rotten teeth. So my whole takeaway from it is this generation growing up, we look at the shows they're interested in, we look at their media, it's, you know, X Factor, it's The Voice, it's about being a superstar. I'm not sure that they really need yet more of that reinforced at school. I think collaboration and teamwork is much more needed in this generation.
Going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid. You both got picked tonight. Dan Abraham, Vicky Beeching, thank you both very much indeed.